Hey, what it do, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all having a great day. So this video, well, if I'm going to be 100% honest, kind of wish I wasn't making it. But since it happened to me, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys anyways. The Denali right here, we're out driving around in it on Christmas Day, and injector number 4 decided to take a big old dump. So originally when that happened, I was like, all right, I'm going to call the dealer, take the truck in, get it fixed, but they can't see it for 2 or 3 weeks. So I called a couple friends of mine. I looked at some forums, and there's a lot of people suggesting that you just put a big old jug of diesel clean in there and that'll clean out the injector. So in today's video, we're going to change the fuel filter. We're going to put a jug of diesel clean in there. We're going to see if it actually cleans the injector. So there might be a couple other things that make its way into this video, like the front entrance. That's turning out super awesome, but I hope you guys enjoy this video. Let's go ahead and jump on into it and let's roll.
I came from the mud. There's dirt on my hands. Strong like a tree. There's roots where I stand. Oh, I've been running from the law. Hope they won't shoot me down soon. They sing on a sleepless night. Try to catch me howling at the moon.
Hey, get in the truck. Oh, come on, you can go. Go, 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 go. All right, well, I got the Denali in the shop. It's up on the ramps. I'm gonna go ahead and roll underneath this thing. I can never remember what size this is, but this is the filter housing. So it gives you all the torque specs and everything if you want to get technical, but we're gonna go ahead and take this guy off. So as far as the fuel filter goes for this truck, it definitely has been dirtier when I've changed them before. You guys can see the old one right here. It's a little bit on the black side. Really not too bad though. This is what they look like when they're brand new. They're nice, shiny, and white. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch it out. I always use the Wix filters. They do cost a little bit more, but anytime I'm dealing with the fuel injection system, I'll always pay like a couple extra bucks to try and avoid problems like this. So I'm gonna go ahead and change out the filter. Then we're gonna dump in a bottle of this stuff, the diesel clean. It says this is good for up to 100 gallons. I'm just gonna dump in the whole bottle anyways, and then we're gonna go for a trip. There also is a little O-ring that needs replacing right there. Not sure if you guys can see that, but went ahead and got that done already. And get this on there snugged up. All right, let's go ahead and get this stuff opened up. Oh, come on. There we go. Do-do-do. So I'm gonna go ahead and back the truck down a little bit, pop the hood. I'm gonna check the connector on injector number 4, and if that looks corroded or loose or anything, I might order a new one of those, but hopefully this will fix the problem because I super need this truck. So I went ahead and pressure washed the engine compartment pretty good. Anytime that I'm doing anything like air intake related or fuel related, I go ahead and pressure wash it, try and get all the dirt out that I can. I'm gonna go ahead and blow the rest out with air right now, try and get it nice and dry. So we need to go ahead and take this off. We need to take these off. There might be a couple other things we gotta take off, but the plug is basically underneath this shroud right here, so we gotta get this off. And in order to do that, all this has to come off. Super grateful it's not on this side because that's a whole nother can of worms to get underneath all this stuff. Couple tools that are a little bit out of the ordinary that you're going to need to go ahead and take this cover off. Well, actually taking the cover off, you're not. You just need like a 10mm socket, and then these 2 top rubber bushings, they just kind of like pop out. They have these little studs right here. But to take this thing off, it's way easier to go ahead and disconnect these 2 fuel lines. Now when you disconnect these 2 fuel lines, if I were you, as soon as you guys can, wrap these things in plastic, keep them clean. You want 0 dirt inside any of those. But so to disconnect those fuel lines, you guys are gonna need something along these lines. Now I have like, I think these are made by OEM. There's a bunch of other companies that make them. You can go to Amazon. They have like transmission oil and fuel line sets. I'll drop a link down below if you guys are curious in checking out what they are, but super handy to have. I do like the OEM ones because they're like spring loaded, whereas I do have some of the cheaper ones and these like you have to hold in place. They don't come back on their own. So it just depends how much money you want to spend, but you're gonna have these to get those fuel lines off, unless you're like MacGyver. I'm sure you guys could figure something out, but this will make it way easier. So now that this is off, you guys can see right here, this is the number 4 cylinder. This is the one that's giving me issues. Supposedly the plug gets corroded, gets dirty, so I tried cleaning it off best I could. I put some dielectric grease in there, put it back in. I'm gonna go ahead and dress all this back up, connect everything back together, put the fuel lines back in, and then go for a little test drive and see how it works. But I'm gonna go ahead and let it start up and run for a little bit. I thought I was gonna be able to go for a test drive, but I actually gotta go do some work now. So let's go and get this thing fired up. As much as I wanted to take this thing for a test drive today, it is not happening. I'm gonna let it run for probably 5 to 10 minutes, make sure there's no hiccups, see if the injectors are still working, see if it like throws the code again that it did. But I gotta warm up the Peterbilt because I'm gonna go grab something pretty cool that's gonna be coming out to the ranch to help out with some of the work and some of the projects we got going on around here. So that's as far as I'm gonna get on this truck today. So the next part of the video is gonna be in the Peterbilt. So I'll see you guys there. All right, so we're gonna go for our little test drive. You guys can see that the check engine light is on already. So we'll see if it turns on. Might self-correct itself, not sure, but let's go ahead and hit the road.
I go! Woo!
All right, we're just pulling back up to shop. Went for roughly, I don't know, probably like a 40-mile long test drive. The truck ran perfectly, no sputtering. It was so bad when I came in and parked this thing, but our check engine light's off. I think we're good to go. So I busted out the insulated bib overalls this morning. It's been a while since I put these bad boys on. I'm gonna try and get a lot done today. I'm gonna try and get this top rail all the way tied into that post. I'm gonna try and get all the sucker rod tied into that post. And the same thing on this side, I wanna get this top rail all the way tied into that pole, get all the sucker rod done. I gotta finish up this tapered edge over here. So I'm trying to get all the sucker rod here around the corner and started. And I think that'll be a good milestone because the sucker rod, it's not hard to put up. It's just very time consuming. And so I can kind of just work on it at my leisure along the front of the property. But I really want to start working on this top piece right here and get my gates hung from these 2 poles. So
tranquilo, a veces rugiendo va, rugiendo va. Cuando el enojo aumenta, el árbol se cortará, se cortará. El río fluye, nunca solo está. Solo está. El río fluye, nunca solo está. Un corazón destruido no deja de palpitar, de palpitar. Mi amor es franco y fiel, no tiene fronteras y no maldad. Mi amor es franco y fiel, no tiene fronteras y no maldad.
So I'm getting getting close, but I don't think I'm gonna quite make it today. The sun's getting pretty close to going down. I'm gonna work a little bit past dark, but not too much because I got a couple of other things that I gotta get done. But this entire side is done, tied into that pull. But as far as this side goes, we're not quite there. I'm still working on coming around the corner right here. So I weld them to the center post, and then I come this way, I weld it to that post, and they kind of run wild this way. You guys can see my little makeshift stand right. And then once I have it all ready, I'll go ahead and heat it up. I'll bend it over. I've got a little hanger from this piece of sucker rod already, so it's like at a predetermined height already. So as I bend it over, I just swing it into there, and then I'll give it a good little push to kind of get it the bend I want. And they turn out pretty good. So I'm gonna try and squeeze one more time lapse in before the sun goes down. I don't have a whole lot of time, so I'm gonna go ahead and get to it.
El río fluye, nunca solo está, no solo está. El río fluye, nunca solo está, no solo está.
So the sun has officially gone down and I'm starting to get cold, but this guy right here, we probably cut it off like, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes ago, and this thing is like still too hot to handle, and it's just been hanging out in the dirt over here. So anyhow, be careful with things like this. Well, I would show you guys what's going on, but it is dark, 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 and I know you guys cannot see anything. And I would be tempted to keep on going and just push all the way through to the pole, even though it's dark and it's cold and welding at night is the worst. But I gotta wake up super early tomorrow, probably like 3:30, 4 o'clock, so I can crank out all the work stuff that I need to get done, so I can go pick up something that I think you guys are probably gonna find maybe on the enjoyable side. It's gonna be another project of mine, but I will be back at it tomorrow, and hopefully we can finally get all the way done to the pole. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, well, I'm just about done. I would say that this is strongly tacked together or halfway welded. I didn't like fully weld it. And the reason I did that is I'm suspecting that these are gonna settle just a little bit. And if they do, I don't want it to be like a big deal to go ahead and cut it and re-weld everything. So I just like halfway weld it. But I'm loving the way this is turning out. I think this looks super cool. The only thing I really have left to do up here is to clean up the sucker rod that's there, clean all this stuff up, then I'm just gonna have a beautiful entryway. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this cleaned up, then I'm gonna run on down to the Ford. So after I finished working on the fence this morning, well, I'm gonna be honest, I ended up taking it super easy today, and I actually took a nap. But let's go ahead and get this thing on the charger. I'm pretty sure it's like 95% dead, but oh, let's see, error 1. Already giving me grief. So, yeah. But there's no point in doing any of this right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect this, take the charger back. So basically doing a quick recap on this, I'm not a professional. I just read a couple things online, and if you guys have that same code that popped up as I did, all I did was unplug the connector, I think like 4 or 5 times, try and clean some of the corrosion off. I put some dielectric grease on there, plugged it back in, put it all back together, dumped an entire can of diesel clean in there, and so far the truck's working good. So tomorrow, if it's still working good, I'm actually gonna go pick something up that's pretty cool that kind of got delayed because the truck was running so poor. But I'm gonna go ahead and put this screws this video. Thank you guys for watching. If you do a huge solid like, subscribe, share this with your amigos, hit that notification button down below so you guys can continue to see progress on whatever else we got going on. I might actually get muddy today. But thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Later.